Drivers with Michael Ingrams.
British films the world over have long been acclaimed for their qualities of realism, especially the war films. But Hell Drivers is a peacetime story about short-haul lorry drivers. So convinced are the makers of the qualities of this picture that they've given me quite cheerfully a free hand to talk to real-life drivers, ask them what they think of the picture, and to show them next to their actor counterparts. Well, here we are in a transport cafe near London. Let's go over and meet the boys. May I join you?
Yes, yes.
Thanks very much. Are you short-haul or long-distance drivers?
Short.
Do you prefer it that way?
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, you're home every night, and when you're away from home, as you know, as well I do, you spend a lot of money during the evening. I mean, it's not every people like says you can't stop in lodgings. No, some people don't like it. And you're out either in the pub or the pictures that cost you just as much as what you'd earn if you was at home.
Do you find it's a great strain being a lorry driver?
Oh, yes, yes. Especially on your stomach.
On your stomach?
Yes.
Is that a general thing?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, they say you get scattered meals any time.
Yeah.
It's a nice sitting for hours.
And the nervous strain of driving?
Yes, definitely.
It is a strain?
Yes, it is a strain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You suffer from anything yourself in that?
Well, indigestion, especially after a good meal.
You don't look as though you've had any of the stomach troubles they've been talking about?
Oh, no.
You've got clear of that?
I only get women trouble.
Now, I'd like to tell you the story of this picture. It's rather interesting. It starts at a haulage company where a chap comes for a job.
I want fast drivers. 50 miles an hour trucks, right round the clock.
What kind of roads?
Bad roads, wet or fine.
What about the speed limit?
That's up to you. If you're caught, you pay your own fine. So if you don't think you can handle 10 tons at that speed, just say so.
What's the money?
We work a bonus system here. You get 7 shillings a load plus 4 shillings an hour.
Over what distances?
10 miles each way. 12 loads a day minimum. Anything under, you're fired.
It's a pretty rough pace, isn't it?
We've got one man that does 18 runs a day.
You're looking for a sucker, aren't you, Mr. Cartley?
Lucy?
Yes, Mr. Cartley?
Phone the shop. Tell it to bring round a spare truck. The usual test run.
Yes, Mr. Cartley.
Right.
Joe is sent for a trial run in charge of the firm's mechanic, Wilfred Lawson.
You've got to keep that needle north of 30. Every mile you get above that, you can reckon on another 6 pence an hour. If you drop below it and you're out of a job. Red chasing Johnny. Well, you didn't have to stop. Come on, get moving. We're losing time. We've got a long way to go yet. What's the matter?
Who says anything's the matter?
Anyhow, it looks as if the job might have its compensations. Peggy Cummins.
Thanks.
Got anywhere to sleep?
No?
Ask at the gate from Mile West. All the boys stay there.
I'll do that.
Oh, by the way, there's a pull-in across the street where they eat.
Yeah?
Of course, you might get to know some nice local girl and get invited for supper. You like home cooking?
Yeah, that's good.
If I cook it, it's good. Bye, Joe.
The first day on the job, and the first encounter on the road with Red, played by Patrick McGowan, arch-devil of the Hell Drivers. Red will and does do anything, fair or foul, and mostly foul, to hold on to his leadership over the other drivers. Soon matters come to a head.
You mean on Yellow Belly? Me. I'm the road foreman.
And that's not all you are.
What else am I?
You're scum.
Well, that's a taste of the story. Let's see what the boys have to say about it. You think it's anywhere near the truth?
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Are there firms that play a bit sharp with the drivers?
Well, granted, of course there is.
And do they make it too hard for them to make the loads?
Well, that's up to the man himself, isn't it?
Yeah, I see. But a man might find it difficult to get a job if he didn't meet the number of loads, which...
Well, there's always other jobs, but if he wants to get in the money, well, he got to drive, hasn't he?
Yeah. You think it's a good system?
Well, it's up to the man himself. I mean, if he wants money, well, he'd have to go and earn it. You can get money if you're low work and keep belting it and take a chance with the law, admitted. But if he don't want that kind of money, well, he can go as a baker's boy, a butcher's boy. Can't he?
He can, yeah.
It's up to the man himself.
What do you think?
Well, I don't know. If a fellow wants to belt it and earn some money, it's up to him, isn't it?
Yeah. And you think that's a pretty fair picture of the industry, the one we
No. Some firms give you a fair wage, you do a fair day's work, you're satisfied.
Oh, well, that's a good point. I wanted to get at that.
That's done mostly for these grabble sort of people, you know?
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to make a name for themselves, you see.
On the whole, you think it's a pretty fair industry?
Well, yes. It's all right.
Well, does that brief glimpse of the story sort of seem to strike you as being truthful?
Oh, yes, definitely. I remember on one occasion, I was diving in front of somebody, so they thought they'd have my own back with me, and they took the pin out the tailboard. And I was driving along, and as I was going along, I was losing my load.
There was a fellow in front of me, and I wanted to get in front of him. But just as I got up alongside of him, he pulled out on me and shot me over in the ditch.
Ah, well, it's exactly the sort of thing we've seen in the picture.
Yeah. And, of course, well, you just wait your chance until you get your own back.
But it's all in the game, I suppose.
It's all in the game, all in a day's work.
Always have a drink at the end of the day and make up.
That's the main thing. So the background of this film is vouched for as authentic by the men who know, with the proviso that it only applies to a tiny minority of the firms engaged in short-haul transport. Now let's look in on the Hell Drivers film unit on location. Like invaders from Mars, they've plunked themselves down in these lonely sandpits where normally nothing is heard but the steady, comfortable hum of the conveyor belts and the digging machinery. Two of the stars that I'd like you to meet, Peggy Cummins and Herbert Long, aren't on call today, but there are plenty of others. First, let's have a word with director Cy Enfield. Plowing through the mud to him, I asked what the problems were for an American making such a peculiarly British picture.
Well, no, not particularly difficult. After all, there's a long history of people coming from all parts of the world to Hollywood and directing typically American pictures.
That's certainly true. Have you made any study of sort of the background of the subject?
Well, yes, I had the good fortune of selecting a story written by a man who had the practical background of being a truck driver.
Tom Cruise, isn't it?
That's right.
I've been talking to quite a few lorry drivers about this, real-life ones about this picture, and they say that plot apart, the background seems to them very authentic. How did you manage that?
Well, simply by doing it. I drove tankers mostly, tar tankers, tipper trucks also, but I haven't had any experience of the short haul that these boys are doing here.
Did you do it out of necessity or to gain material?
Out of necessity, from old brokenness, I should say.
Did you become a writer out of doing all these jobs, or did you do those jobs in order to make money to be a writer?
The last is true, yes. I've always written, but I had to live in the meantime until I could get somewhere. And I did these jobs and various other jobs.
You think you're set now, or do you anticipate the possibility of doing that sort of work again?
Well, if I did, I don't think I'd object to it very much, so long as I didn't do it for too long.
The work on location starts at sunup, and by midday, everyone's ready for food. You don't find chairs in a sandpit, but that doesn't seem to have bothered Alfie Bass.
Hello, Mark. Hello, Alfie. How are you? All right. Room for one more? Yeah, take a seat.
What, Billy Matt?
No. Tell me, Alfie, this lorry driver you're playing in this picture,
Yeah?
how do you get them so good, you know, this type of chap? The background, Alfie, how did you get that? I mean, what was your beginning?
Well, it sort of naturally belongs to me. I mean, my background covers very big area, you know. I've probably got a relative in every kind of industry you can think of. You know, I must have a brother somewhere, a very, very big family of 13.
What did you start in yourself?
I started, well, first of all, I did a bit of tailoring, then I did a bit of printing, then I did a bit of carpentry, woodwork, engineering, then some very odd sort of jobs, you know, tea boy and funny kinds of shops and things, big factories, small factories. So knocked about, you know, done.
Now you're doing a bit of acting and you're going to stick with that.
Oh yes, well I was forced into it, you know. I didn't sort
Hey,
of
Alfie!
try. Yeah.
Want it?
Right.
Work begins again and the sandpit machinery goes into action. I was trying to find the star of Hell Drivers, Stanley Baker. It was no easy matter to single him out from the real-life workers and drivers. I think that's him. Stanley? Oh.
Hello, Mike. How are you?
Fine. I wanted to do with you. You can't tell the difference between actors and workers here.
Sure, I know, yeah.
Not that actors don't work sometimes, I suppose.
I find it very exciting work. I like doing it, driving all the lorries and etc. You know, it's great fun.
Have you made any particular approach to this part?
Well, I have spent quite a lot of time here in the ballast pit and in certain pull-ins along the road, in transport cafes, you know, talking to the drivers, getting to know them, getting to see how they behave, also in their work and also in their leisure time, you know.
The realism that everyone's trying for in this picture, can you give me an instance of how it works in practice?
Well, yes, Mike, we, for instance, do all our own driving, etc., the lorries, and we work on the site. But a particular instance I'd like to tell you about, there's a fight in the picture, a big fight between the villain and myself, played by Patrick McGowan. And he was, one time was a professional boxer, and I've done a little myself, you know, fooling around a bit. And Cy Enfield, the director, said, it'd be a rather good idea if we did the fight absolutely realistically on the stage. Which in fact we did, and it was quite realistic. I got a couple of punches and blooded nose, etc. You know, and Pat got also a couple of punches, and it looks very good on screen. It's a new approach to shooting this kind of fight, you know. And in actual fact, it was a fight.
And the finished film of Hell Drivers proves that this approach was right. The thing that will always remain in my mind, though, is the fantastic, brilliant, maniacal roadmanship of the Hell Drivers. This program was made in cooperation with the Rank organization. Cameraman Harry Hart, sound recordist Stan Clark, directed by Bill Morton, written and produced by Michael Ingrams.